Dear Fort Wright friends and neighbors, my name is Dave Hatter, and it's been my privilege and my pleasure to serve here as mayor of my hometown for the past 10 years and also to serve 16 years on city council. Additionally, I've lived in Fort Wright for nearly 55 years, and my dad has lived in the same house here since 1956. Today, I'm coming to you with an important message before Election Day, which is November 5th, 2024, to ask you to vote for all six of the existing incumbent council members. You can see them on your screen. They are Scott Wall, Margie Witt, Bernie Wessels, Dave Abeln, Jay Weber, and Jason Collins. I've had the privilege of working with these people for many years in a variety of contexts throughout the community, not just on city council. Like me, all of them have lived here for a substantial period of time. Like me, many of them grew up here. Their parents lived here or currently live here. Their kids lived here or some still live here. And like me, they have a vested interest in the success of our community due to deep family and community roots. In fact, I'm happy to say my oldest son now owns a house here in Fort Wright. So I am now one of those three-generation families. My dad, myself, and my son live here. Again, I raised a family of four here because this is such a great place to be. I know that the current members of council are deeply committed, like me, to ensuring that Fort Wright continues to be a great place to live, work, play, and visit for everyone. And I know because you can look at their voting records and see it for yourself. You don't have to take their word for it. You don't have to hear their promises. You can look at the things that they've done to make us such a wonderful community today. And I want to take a second and thank so many of the giants shoulders whose shoulders we stand on today that have gotten us into the position where we are. People like former Mayor Joe Nienaber Jr., former Mayor Joe Nienaber Sr., and former Mayor Tom Litzler. I mean, these are folks who have done an enormous amount of work over the years to position us for the success that we're seeing today. And I'm very happy to say that all three of those mayors, former Mayor Joe Nienaber Jr., former Mayor Joe Nienaber Sr., and former Mayor Tom Litzler, are all endorsing these six candidates. They're also endorsed by Kenton County Judge Executive Kris, who realizes we have an amazing relationship with Kenton County. It's a very friendly, respectful, collaborative and cohesive relationship, and Judge Knochelmann recognizes the value that this team brings to the table. So again, I'm happy to say these six council members are all endorsed by former Mayor Joe Nienaber Jr., Sr., and Tom Litzler, as well as Kenton County Judge Executive Kris Knochelmann. So let's take a look at each one of the council members briefly. Let's start with Jay Weber. Jay is a business person. He's lived in the city for more than 50 years. He raised his family here. He's been on council for 5 years. He served on the Sanitation District 1 board for a while. And probably most importantly, from a city perspective, he has been on the Finance Committee from the beginning. The Finance Committee is absolutely crucial to our success. Jay's been a key member. He helped design the investment plan that we have. I'll talk more about that in a minute and how instrumental it's been to our financial success and keeping your taxes low. So again, Jay has just been absolutely instrumental on that front. Dave Abeln, like me, Dave grew up in Fort Wright. His parents lived in Fort Wright. His kids grew up here. He's a mechanical engineer and president of a local manufacturing company. Dave has lived in Fort Wright for more than 50 years and has been very engaged in the community for a long time, and he spent 12 years on council. Margie Witt. Margie has lived here for about 25 years. She owns a landscaping business, and her husband Mike is a Fort Wright native. He and I used to play together back in the day in our neighborhood over here off Amsterdam Road. Margie's kids grew up here. She's been on council for 7 years and has been super instrumental in so many community improvement projects. She's on the Community Improvement Committee. She works with the Garden Club. She leads the Cleanup Day initiative. So, Margie has put in an enormous amount of time and energy to beautify and improve our community and make this a wonderful place to live. Bernie is a longtime, well-known business owner. His business is located here in Fort Wright. He's lived here for over 35 years. He raised his family here. He's been on council for 16 years and is also one of the key members of the Finance Committee. Again, Bernie and Jay's work simply cannot be overstated in terms of our financial success and how important they've been in helping us achieve the financial success we've seen today, which at the end of the day speaks to providing world-class services for you and keeping your tax rates low. Scott Wall, he works in sales. He grew up in Fort Wright. Scott's father is a former council member. Scott's been involved in many things here. He raised his family here. He's lived in Fort Wright for more than 60 years and has served on council for 17 years. And then our newest council member, Jason Collins. He works in insurance for a business that's located here in Fort Wright. He raised his family here. He's lived here for more than 20 years. And while he's only been on council for 2 years, although, and I think made a huge impact during that time, he's a very well-known community volunteer. He's been an active soccer coach for years. In fact, he coached my daughter at one point. He's been very involved in the St. Agnes community. He ran the fish fries, the St. Agnes Oktoberfest celebration. So again, he's been super involved, and one of the reasons why we recruited him to run last time is because based on all that community involvement, we know he shares our values and our commitment to the community. So again, this is an amazing team. They're bringing enormous experience, integrity, and vision to the table. Just the 6 of them alone have lived here collectively more than 250 years. And if you add my time in, we have more than 300 years of residence in the city and more than 60 years of collective service through city council, as and roles on council or as mayor. So it's a pretty amazing commitment, I believe, to this awesome community. These folks are servant leaders. They're longtime residents. They have businesses here. They have family here. They're engaged in the schools. They're engaged in the churches. They've just done an enormous amount for the community above and beyond their council service. I absolutely know they understand our community. They understand the community values. And I believe that they demonstrate those values regularly, not only through council and the actions they take as council, but through their other support of the community. And I think you can look at their voting record. You don't have to trust their promises. You don't have to look at what they say they're going to do. You can go look at their voting record and see for yourself that they consistently demonstrate a commitment to our community, and they consistently work hard to make sure Fort Wright is and continues and will always be a great place to live, work, play, and visit for everyone. So let's highlight some of the accomplishments of this awesome team. First, they are very committed to honest, transparent, ethical government. And that is demonstrated by the fact that we are a Kentucky League of Cities certified city of ethics. We were one of the first cities in the state to achieve that. There are about 35 now who've achieved it out of roughly 400 cities. And it takes some effort. You can't just say, hey, I want to be a city of ethics. You have to adopt an ethics ordinance that aligns with the KLC's model ordinance. We did that several years ago and have recently gone through a recertification process, and I believe substantially improved our ethics ordinance to make sure that you get the ethical, transparent, honest government that you should expect and deserve as a resident of Fort Wright. We have to go through training. We had to spend money on this. So again, it's a pretty substantial commitment to earn this designation. I'm very proud of it personally, and I love the fact that council was absolutely committed to going through this process from the word go. Also, again, transparency. We try to be as transparent as possible. We publish everything on our website, whether it's meeting minutes and agendas, or it's the budget, it's our audits, it's our entire checkbook. We have a financial transparency portal. I strongly encourage every single Fort Wright resident and business to go check this out, right? This is not my city. It's not city council city. It's our city. It's our community. This is your money we're spending. I encourage you to see how it's spent. We've been very fortunate to get excellent audits year after year. We go through a rigorous audit each year. Those are all published on the website. We publish the full budget, and again, through the financial transparency portal, you can see where every single check is going. It's all out there. I encourage you to check it out and share it with your friends and neighbors. And if you have questions or you don't like something, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer those questions. So on that financial front, I can say after many years of service here, we are in by far the best financial shape we've ever been in. And that's despite crushing inflation, expansion of services, both infrastructure and personnel. And, we continue to be able to deliver significant tax reductions. In fact, I'm very proud to say this year, we've been able to deliver a 13% tax rate reduction, which puts us at the lowest property tax rate since 2009. So if you look at this chart, which is also available on our website, you can see the rate adopted by council this year after some thorough vetting of our financial position, our expected revenue and expenses for next year. We went from 248 per thousand to 215 per thousand. Again, the lowest rate since 2009, despite substantial inflation across the board, construction costs, salaries, etc. We have to compete with other cities to retain our awesome staff. We've seen gigantic increases in expenses. The inflation has been crazy, and yet we continue to be able to deliver either holding rates or cutting rates, as you see in this chart. I believe for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is we have a very smart, dedicated council team, and especially due to the wisdom and insights of the Finance Committee, Jay and Bernie. I wanted to also point out, if you look at this screen I'm showing now, that while this is only current through 2023, we have not had time to 2022 rather, we have not had time to update it with the most current numbers. You can see in 2022, when our tax rate was 248, we were the fifth lowest property tax rate jurisdiction in Kenton County. I believe with the 13% rate cut we'll see this year, we're probably going to go down to the second or third lowest. Again, as we collect this information, the tax rates are set by different cities at different times. We will update this document. And again, it's out on the website. I encourage you to go take a look at it and see where we rank. But again, I'm really proud of this. This is something we focus hard on every year, is trying to make sure that we continue to make this a wonderful place to live, work, and play, but also keep our taxes as low as possible. On that front, I wanted to explain a little bit more about that. So, we have aggressively pursued grants. We've been able to produce about $5 million in income through grants over the last 10 years. As I mentioned before, we've implemented a very wise and, I believe, prudent investment plan. It not only protects our initial investment, but generates significant additional revenue every year to offset our taxes. So rather than just letting the money languish in a bank account with a relatively low interest rate, following Kentucky state laws and the advice of external investment advisors who focus in this government sector, and through, again, the wisdom and insight of the Finance Committee specifically and Council more generally, we've created a very, very successful investment program that's generating a lot of new revenue each year that helps fund city operations without the need to raise your taxes, and in fact, again, to cut your taxes. We've also added franchise fees. So without getting too deep into the weeds, when organizations, let's say Duke or Altafiber, want to use our infrastructure to put up telephone poles and run wires and so forth, they have to pay for that. So to ensure we have a level playing field for all the utilities who want to be in that space and to collect the revenue that we deserve to allow them to use that space, we've implemented additional franchise fees that are generating some pretty substantial revenue. I think I mentioned before, we've come in under budget for the last 5 years. Our budgeting process is very thorough, very specific, very detailed, but we also try to aim high on expenses, aim low on revenues. And again, thanks to the diligence of our staff and the wisdom of council, we've been able to come in under budget for the last 5 years. We also have enough financial reserves to be able to run the city for up to a year with zero additional income, despite the fact that we've lowered taxes and we're debt free. We've been debt-free for more than 10 years. Special hat tip to former Mayor Joe Nienaber. That was one of his initiatives when he was mayor. And I'm very proud to say that we continue to be debt-free after all this time. We also have a capital improvements plan where we set aside cash and we pay cash for capital items. The new fire truck we paid cash for. The new equipment of the Public Works Department, trucks, backhoes, etc. The new police cars we buy every year. We're paying cash for all of that again. We have no long-term debt, and we have a plan to ensure that continues into the foreseeable future. I mentioned before, our financial audits are spotless. They're on the site. I encourage you to go check them out. Check out that budget. Check out that financial transparency portal. We are absolutely, myself, council, and staff, committed to honesty, committed to transparency. It's all out there. And again, despite increased costs, lower taxes, we continue to make significant investments in the community. We spend roughly $650,000 a year on the street program. That includes your sidewalks. We're trying to make Fort Wright a more walkable community. We just got a grant for a substantial improvement over on Dixie Highway. We've invested in the South Hill Civic Club with some significant upgrades. We have recently taken over after a purchase of the Fort Wright Civic Club and are planning to do some substantial upgrade there. Don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but my personal plan is to try to turn that into a real showcase for the city and to make that a wonderful community center for all of our residents. Stay tuned, more information to come on that. I did put together a comprehensive list of enhancements from 2018 through 2024. When I publish this video and share it on social media and so forth, you'll be able to see the complete list there. But it's a substantial list. Again, this council team is dedicated. They work hard. They're constantly trying to move the city forward. To that end, I also know that they listen to residents. They take residents' concerns very seriously. For example, the Brent Spence Bridge project. This is going to be a huge project. It's going to create a lot of inconvenience, but when it's done, I think it's going to be an amazing enhancement to the safety of drivers in the region. And as you may know, we're going to have a substantial upgrade to the Kyles Lane overpass. You can see the plans out on our website. We've been working closely with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, not only to ensure that there are sound barriers and aesthetic improvements and safety improvements on the roadway, but also to vastly upgrade the Kyles Lane overpass. The plans are amazing. This is going to be a major benefit to the community. And when people drive through and see it, I think it will tell everyone this is, and I believe this is true, for one of the most desirable communities in the greater Cincinnati region. Again, you can see the plans out there on the website. But you don't have to just take my word for all these things. Smart Asset recently ranked us as the #6 suburb in a large metropolitan area throughout the entire country based on affordability, jobs, and livability. And I believe that's just one of many ways to validate what a great place this is to live, work, and play, and the great work of this council and the previous councils before it. I absolutely can say wholeheartedly on behalf of myself and council and staff, we are here to serve our residents and businesses. We want to ensure that this is a welcoming place for everyone. And I believe you can see that in the track record of the incumbent council members. This team has done an amazing job. They're very dedicated, they're very devoted, they're very committed to making this the best community in the greater Cincinnati region. Again, we've made significant investments in staff. We've added headcount in the police department. We've added headcount in the fire department. We've added equipment. We've added safety equipment for the staff and for residents. We continue to benchmark against our neighbors to make sure that once we hire these awesome staff members, that we can keep them by providing the right benefits and pay to make sure that they want to come to work every day, they want to stay here, and they want to recruit other professionals to join our awesome team. We're trying to build an environment where this is a great place to live, it's a great place to work, it's a great place to play, it's a great place to visit, and it's a great place to work as a member of the team that serves you. Bottom line is, we're just super blessed. We're in an amazing position here, and it's all because of this council team and previous council teams and staff. This team is smart, it's dedicated, it's cohesive. They respect each other. They respect me. We work well together. I encourage you, go watch some council meetings. You can watch them at tbnk.org or through Facebook. While we don't always agree, although we mostly do, we're able to disagree without being disagreeable. Everyone is respectful. Everyone listens. Everyone has input. And sometimes when we don't agree, we disagree and we move forward. Again, I think you'll see there's a lot of cohesiveness, there's a lot of collegiality, there's a lot of respect. I consider each one of these people my friends. And when you watch the meetings, I think that comes out. Again, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but I believe our track record shows it, we do take these roles and these responsibilities very seriously. Again, this is the hometown for most of us. Our parents live here, our kids live here, we love this community, and we're dedicated and devoted to making this the best place in the greater Cincinnati region. Again, we work well together. We work well with other agencies like Kenton County, right? We want this to be an amazing place to live. We need to maintain that cohesiveness. We need to maintain that respectfulness. And that's why, again, I'm going to ask you today, vote for all 6 of the incumbent council members. That's Scott Wall, Margie Witt, Bernie Wessels, Dave Abeln, Jay Weber, and Jason Collins. I can't say enough good things about each one of them. Again, I have nothing but respect and admiration for each one of these people. I consider each one of them my friend, and they're absolutely key to keeping us on the path we're on, moving the city forward, and making sure that while we try to reduce your taxes, we're still providing the amazing services that you expect and deserve, and we're focused on making this the best place in greater Cincinnati to live, work, play, and visit for everyone. So I humbly ask you, share this video with your friends and neighbors. Ask everyone who can vote in Fort Wright to reelect all 6 incumbents. And I also want to point out the city recently released a video that kind of shows you what a great community this is. It's not a campaign piece. It actually doesn't even mention me or council, but it's a great marketing piece for the city. I would encourage you to watch the video, share it with your friends and neighbors, share it with business people you know, ask them to watch it so when someone's looking for a new place to live or they're looking to locate a new business. Again, businesses are key to our success here. We generate about 60% of our revenue from businesses. That's partially why we can keep taxes low. We need quality businesses. Share this video, get it out there, help us raise awareness about why Fort Wright is the best place to live, work, play, and visit in greater Cincinnati. So with that, I want to wrap up and say thanks again for the privilege to serve as mayor here in my hometown. I'm fortunate to be in such an awesome community with so many awesome people that are willing to give back to the community. And that's my last point. I want to give special thanks here recently. We've now been able to help, whether it's Hawksworth Blood Drives, whether it's the Community Coat Drive, we've been able to make some significant donations thanks to the generosity of the residents and businesses here in Fort Wright. We were able to donate a police cruiser to a community that was devastated during the flooding in Kentucky. And then more recently, we had a very successful relief effort for Hurricane Helene. And I mean, we just so much support from staff, so much support from council, and just amazing outpouring from the community, people willing to give so much. Special thanks to everyone who contributed to these relief efforts. Our motto for years has been neighbors helping neighbors, and this is just one more example where you can see that we do try to live up to that motto. So again, thank you for your time. God bless you and your family. Get on the vote on November 5th. And I, again, cannot encourage you enough to vote to re-elect our incumbent council members Scott Wall, Margie Witt, Bernie Wessels, Dave Abeln, Jay Weber, and Jason Collins. Thank you.